VP debate happened 2 nights ago, right? And during this debate, nobody knew what was going on. The media was selling that Walz is nervous, and the media was selling that JD Vance is not likable. Everybody was waiting for JD Vance to come in, to be an a-hole, to be a jerk, to be pompous, to be arrogant, to not be liked. This guy just thinks he knows it all. The audience is not going to like him. And then all of a sudden, Rob, do you have any of the clips of what people were saying afterwards, saying JD won, JD won, JD won, JD won? If you don't have it, let's play one of the clips and you can look for it afterwards. But show a couple of the highlights, Rob. Whatever you got, just show us a couple highlights and we'll respond to it. Go ahead.
Senator, thank you. Governor, you previously opposed an assault weapons ban, but it's only later in your political career did you change your position. Why?
Yeah, I sat in that office with those Sandy Hook parents. I've become friends with school shooters. I've seen it. Look, the NRA, I was an NRA guy for a long time. They used to teach gun safety. I'm of an age where my shotgun was in my car so I could pheasant hunt after football practice.
Okay, so that was one of the ones that
That's like I think he misspoke, but to say that I'm friends with school shooters, like we hang out on the weekends. I tell them not
friends with a school shooter. So that was one of the moments. Tom, your thoughts on that when he said that?
When he said peasants, I was really worried that he was talking about the poor, but it wasn't going to surprise me because he's up there, Christian. So. What happened, what was very interesting to happen is right now, we're not going to know what the bounce is for about a week and a half for real polls. But here's what we did find in early focus groups. The enthusiasm for JD Vance went up with Trump supporters. Why? Because we really didn't know him yet, but now we saw him in this context, and he did not come off as a jerk. He came off very presidential. And if you take a look, there were thousands of tweets by regular people. I was scanning through all kinds of stuff, Pat, that said, wow, I'm confident of him being president as a vice president if something should happen. Yeah. So that meant JD showed well to the Republican supporters who said, didn't see you this way, like what I see, you could even be the president, like it. But that's not going to move the independent voters yet. Walz, believe it or not, gained a little traction with enthusiasm, not new voters, with Democrat women, middle-class women, who thought he was approachable and nice and friendly. However, there was also a great deal of, okay, who won the debate? We have the overnight opinion polls. It was 65-35, anybody you look at. If you can find a couple very liberal stations that would say, oh, it was 50-50. Yeah, right. Even CNN and ABC were saying, well, this is 65-35 according to the polls we're seeing. And that's what came out of it. So what was really interesting about this is JD didn't make any gaffes and he was unflappable. He tried to go up against the moderators. Once again, it was 3 against 1, 2 moderators and Walz up against Vance, and similar to what Trump faced. And so I would argue that the moderators, if you look at what was out there, even did worse than ABC. They caught more heat, especially Margaret Brennan, she was the one in the pink, caught more heat from citizens about the way they conducted themselves. So we'll find out if there's a bounce or if there's movement, but it showed great for JD. We got to see Walz a little bit. He came across as likable, but is he a likable frumpy uncle you want in front of Vladimir Putin? Nope. But the answer to that was no.
What was shocking about it, the fact that they got along and they were having a civil conversation, respectful, the moment about when he said his 17-year-old son witnessed, the shooting, and then he says, I am so sorry, may, Christ have grace, and JD Vance comes back, and you actually saw something where you said, this gave me the vibes of an 80s debate.
Yes.
Okay? It gave me a vibe of an 80s debate because the last, I don't know, how many years would you say, 12 years? Probably, the last 8 years. It's been very, very high tension, and do you think right now, after his performance on this debate that took place, do you think now JD is the #1 draft pick for 2028?
Well, a lot of people were saying that because Ann Coulter put out a very snarky tweet that I think she may want to pull back.
She won't.
And
Ann ain't pulling nothing
She
back.
said, JD Vance looking great. What's the life expectancy of a 78-year-old in a high-pressure job? Which isn't a very nice thing to say. And what she's saying is, I like JD Vance as my president if something happens to Trump. But there was a lot of people that came out and you saw Vance 28. So the Republicans, a lot of people are going to be running on that. But Vance is definitely a draft pick. Is he #1? Right now, if he becomes VP and shows well, how can he not be number one coming out of that?
You know what is impressive, though? What is impressive, the fact that while she could have chosen Shapiro, who's formidable, who carries himself well, who's tough, who's strong, well-spoken, right? She chooses him. And while he could have chosen anybody else, right? He could have chosen, and I'm not saying, I'm not going to give name. He could have chosen a couple other guys, but he chose somebody that called him out before.
Oh, horrible. Call him Hitler.
Exactly. To now put him there to show that I'm okay with somebody that can have moments bigger than me. Because Vance yesterday, 2 days ago, was all about Vance. He shined.
Big time.
He shined in a big way to the point when even liberals were sitting there saying, I was not expecting to like this guy. Yep. I ended up liking this guy. There was a moment where, when I looked at Walz, I tweeted something. I said, listen, I don't know about you, but Walz seems 10 times more likable than Kamala. I just liked Walz more than Kamala. There was something about him, I'm like, I like this guy. I don't know if debating is for him. He's not a guy that should be debating. But for what it was worth, he was likable. I thought JD just talked, poised, strong, gave his issues. You could tell this guy went to Yale, studied debate. You could tell this guy's a true believer on stage when he's speaking. I was very impressed with Walz. Adam.
Going down the line, draft pick for 2028, it isn't even close. It's Vivek. The guy's a beast. He's a monster. He's not going anywhere. I think we learned something about him 2 days ago that I could see him being the next governor of Ohio. No problem. Would you want to be a part of the Trump administration? Do you want to be governor of Ohio? Vivek will have his chance. Obviously, JD will be there.
So Adam, not to cut you, because I know you want to say something, but wait. So and I'm being genuine. Do you think? Because I don't know if it was you or one of us. Somebody said it where the fact that Vivek, I think he's ridiculous. He's amazing. I love the guy, but the fact that he's not a Christian, do you think he's still the number one choice as a Christian majority country? Would they be comfortable voting for a non-Christian as a president?
Very good question. Very good point. That's something that he'll have to answer. I mean, we remember that conversation that we had.
Yeah.
There was the PBD town hall with Vivek, and one of the ladies asked him that exact same question. And, listen, the number one thing on my mind in America right now isn't necessarily what Vivek believes in as a higher power. Do you love America? Are you happy to be American? Are you proud to be an American? Yes, qualified, done. But as far as this debate goes, JD Vance won this debate hands down. The dude is a cool, calm, collected sniper. He's basically touting all of Trump's policies without being abrasive or aggressive or name calling. He's so smooth. I'm telling you. So, the VP debate, with the conversation that we had with Vivek was, does this really even matter? Well, there's been 2, possibly 3 assassination attempts on Donald Trump. So I would argue that, God forbid, fill in the blank, ... Oh,
don't even.
Yeah, JD Vance is there. Meanwhile, could you imagine Tim Walz sitting in the Oval Office? Are you kidding me? I mean, this guy is giving me Matt Foley, Chris Farley vibes from SNL, living in a van down by the river. He walks in there, he's like, excuse me, what's going on around here now? Listen, I'm friends with school shooters, and there's nothing wrong with that. We can't be villainizing migrants. Let them in. It doesn't matter who they are. Let them in the country. By the way, when I was in Tiananmen Square and I was at the Hong Kong protest, Mr. Walz, you weren't there. I stand corrected. That's my bad. I got some misinformation. Anyway, when Joe Biden,
I'm a knucklehead.
When Joe Biden is doing that face like this?
Yeah, that lost face.
I've adapted that face as well. It's the Kamala
so what are you
look.
saying? So you're saying
I'm just saying he is so unequipped, unprepared. I mean, I don't know how that guy became mayor of Minnetonka, much less governor of Minnesota. You want that guy in the Oval Office? I'm good, PBD.
Right. Okay.
I'm just not. Listen, the fact that, it wasn't a shock, but it was still a shock that the moderators were literally cheating and helping again, and they got caught. And JD Vance, like you said, Adam,
do you have that moment? That's probably the best moment there when he fact checked them.
JD fact checked and goes, "Hey, you guys aren't supposed to be doing," which I absolutely love.
And what they do to him? Cut his mic.
They cut his mic. But I mean, dude, in those moments, and that's why, Adam, when we're talking about Trump, guys, and when people are like, well, Trump's always angry and always and again, for 8 years, the day he announced, it's been a shitstorm on him. You would have that attitude too. So I think this is that moment where, you say enough is enough, you put them on blast. And if, by the way, if I was me, if they did it again, I'd be like, listen, I'm going to walk off the stage if you guys keep giving this person an advantage. This is it right here, right, Rob?
Mm-hmm. Played, Rob.
Thank you, Governor. And just to clarify for our viewers, Springfield, Ohio does have a large number of Haitian migrants who have legal status, temporary protected status.
Well, Margaret, but
thank you, Senator. We have so much to get to.
Margaret, I think it's important.
We're going to turn out of the economy. Thank
Margaret,
you.
the rules were that you guys weren't going to
we're-
fact check. And since you're fact checking me, I think it's important to say what's actually going on. So there's an application called the CBP One app where you can go on as an illegal migrant, apply for asylum or apply for parole, and be granted legal status at the wave of a Kamala Harris open border wand. That is not a person coming in, applying for a green card and waiting for 10 years. That is the facilitation of illegal immigration, Margaret.
Thank you, Senator, for describing
By the way,
legal
go play the
process.
clip of Chris Cuomo reacting to this. Go play the clip of Chris Cuomo reacting to this. I just texted it
And
to you.
Pierre, did you see Don Jr., Caitlin Collins, what's her name from CNN?
Yeah.
She goes up to him and he just, I send it to Rob too, Pat. It's awesome because she's like, well, your dad's the one that's starting all this political. And he's like, oh, really? You guys are the ones that are saying Hitler, and you guys are. It's actually, I send it to Rob too, but
Play
go
this
ahead.
clip.
Yeah.
When they were talking, at one point, Vance wanted to correct something about how Haitians got into this country. And he was right, and the moderators wouldn't let him correct it. It's very interesting.
Nora,
but
thank you, Senator. We have so much to get to.
Margaret, I think it's important
We're going to
because
turn out of the
Fast forward a
economy.
little
Thank
Margaret,
you.
I just want to go to Chris's feedback at the end. Right there. Go ahead.
Well, there you have it. And look, Vance was right, okay? There's nuance to it, but the bigger problem is why he was moved on. We've got so much to get to. This says who? You know what I mean? Like, what is the schedule here? So you have a list of topics? That's not what it's about. It's about how the American people can access these two men and the two theories and the narratives, and you got to let them have their speak, because now you created a story where you're the problem, which...
I love it. I love it.
I absolutely.
So if you have the junior clip, I haven't seen the junior clip.
I slacked it too. But Pete, casual question back, because we brought up the fact. I mean, guys, it's still an actual, real threat that Donald Trump. We still have 38 days, 40 days left.
Less.
I think
we're a
less.
month out.
But I still think in my heart of hearts that they're still going to try to take him out. If God forbid, Pat, because I think the country we'd be over if that actually happens, if they go through with it. Because of this performance, is JD Vance, is it good enough to where if God forbid Trump gets taken out, that this guy could take the mantle and actually win the Republican vote?
Oh, by the way, I'm going to tell you this. If they take Trump out in the next 33 days, I don't even want to use the words, but we're talking about it.
I'm just questioning.
My percentage goes to 90% Vance wins.
Oh, no.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm on the exact opposite side.
I'm on the exact direction I'm going.
No.
Let me tell you.
I want to hear this. I want to hear why you're.
You want me to tell you why?
Yeah.
I'll tell you why. Because you know the song "The Freaks Come Out at Night."
Yes.
You know who's going to come out
at night?
You know who's going to come out?
The freaks
The
come out.
people that were going to sit on the sidelines are going to say, F you. And he says, I'm not even a guy that likes this guy. You ever see somebody you can't stand?
Yep.
And then you watch something and you're like, are you freaking kidding me? You're making me like this guy. And then you want to root for this person, right? When that takes place, right? I don't know if you guys seen the McMahon documentary or not that just came out. Matt and Sheena Sapala, you got to watch it. Steve Avetian, you got to watch it. I'm like, guys, you think I have time to six? So what do? Saturday night, Jen's asleep. I watch first episode. It's 10:30. I watch second episode. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Then I wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning on Sunday, go downstairs in my office, watch the third episode. I watched the fourth episode. I watched the fifth. I finished the whole thing. I don't do stuff like this, unless if it's like Last Dance,
of course,
Jeter,
Yeah.
And then you see this where the experience of the fan, like, Rob, you and I spoke about it. I said, did you like his daughter more or less? We said what? Less.
Yes.
Did you like his son more or less? We said
more.
Did you like Vince more or less? You kind of are like, man, I feel for this guy, right? Now, of course, some of the crazy things that he did.
Yeah.
If they do something like that, they're going to make the people that can't stand him like him, and they're going to come out and they're going to say, "You're going to make me vote for him? I'm going to vote for him." I can't believe you did this.
And why'd you say no, Adam? You said no. You said opposite of what Pat said.
God forbid Trump gets assassinated? Yeah, I mean, you're taking out the candidate and Kamala's.
What do you think these people are going to vote? But where's the MAGA movement going to go? They're going to just give up?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, look, the fact that we're even having this conversation is
real.
the craziest
it's
part.
Crazy because I'm not being facetious. I'm being serious.
You know, this would be a complete hypothetical, but the dude got shot in the ear.
Yeah.
And then they found the guy on the golf course.
On that
so
note,
it's actually sad and sort of disgusting that we even have to have this conversation.
Well, let's go from diatribing conversation back to facts. What Pat just said, you said, you know, freaks come out at night. Pat, the facts are with you. Independents moved at least 4 points to Trump after the assassination attempt in Butler. They moved because there was a collective feeling in this country that was this: not this way. We don't do it this way. And he picked up support. It's a fact. And that's the numbers. The numbers are screaming. People moved to Trump saying, we're not doing it this way, and I'm supporting him.
By the way, and I'm only saying this after the VP debate.
Yes.
I wouldn't have said this pre-VP debate, just so you know that. You know how many people live were watching the VP debate on YouTube, on CBS? 265,000.
Wow.
You mean to tell me that many people were interested? That's not good for the left. That is not, because he shined.
Big time.
So, Rob, can you play that clip with Junior and Sweetheart?
Just her face is so positive.
But on the debate itself, it was very civil. I mean, they acknowledged when they agreed, they gave each other the benefit of the doubt. Should we see more of that on the debate stage when your dad's up there?
You know what? I'd love to see that across the board. Sometimes the political climate isn't that much. We've all heard about Trump derangement syndrome. We've seen what they've lied about to my family. I was an agent of Russia, but Hunter Biden's laptop was totally Russian disinformation. Turns out the opposite was true. The media did that. They created so much of that environment.
Look.
The media has radicalized the people that are trying to kill my father. I've had to deal with that twice now in the last 2 months. I've had to have that conversation with my 5 young children twice in the last 2 months about someone trying to shoot their grandfather.
She can't help herself.
That didn't just magically happen. That's not him. That's a media-created fake Russia scenario. They ran with it for years. Even when it was disproven, they still ran with it. That environment wasn't just created by Donald Trump.
Okay, but can I say, you can't blame, and everyone wants your dad to be safe. No one wants the threats against his life to happen, but you can't blame the media for those threats. There's been no evidence. That's what drove those.
And allows people to have a platform to call someone literally Hitler every day for 9 years. It creates it.
Okay.
Whether you want to believe it or not, that's a fact.
But as you know, JD Vance once likened your dad to Hitler as well. He questioned if he was America's Hitler. But I want to talk about the debate.
She can't help herself. No matter what. It's never them. It's never them taking the fault, Tom. It's always like they created this problem. And the fact that, and you nailed it, Adam, the fact that this is still a real, guys, when I'm saying it, it's not a joke, Tom. They're especially when you talk about these polls, Tom, and these numbers, which I've been seeing it on the decision, Trump's starting to gain that momentum. When they realize they have she's going to lose, then what are they going to do? They got to try to take him out, period.
Well,
that's where we are.
Two things can be true at once, because if we're going to blame the media for gaslighting America, yes, guilty. But let's not pretend that Trump didn't get up on stage in 2016 and be like, you're fat, you're a loser, you're little Marco, you're this, you're that. So some of the incivility did start from Trump. But that's also part of the allure of Trump, is that he will talk smack to your face. He's a game changer. So, I mean, take the good with the bad. Donald Trump Jr. is right.
Yep.
But also Caitlin Collins.
By the way, in the
does
modern
have a
world,
point.
that's called campaigning, and you do want to destabilize your opponent's platform.
I'm with you.
Adam, but
it worked for him.
Yeah, me calling.
But let's not pretend that he went out there and he was like, "Hey guys," he dismantled the Republican base.
Yeah.
And the Republican candidacy
Two
before
things
he
can
went to the
be true
Democrats.
at once.
I got a big announcement to make. The property I'm on right now, we've been working on buying this property for the last 3 years. It's one of its last kind in America. Why? It's on 11 acres. It's got 2 hangars. It's on an airport. Upgrades of $7 million made here. That's going to be the new headquarters of Valuetainment, Menek, by David Consulting, the podcast, the whole 9. And what we wanted to do, we want to find a way to celebrate this as a new headquarters with inviting you to an event on November 5th, which is election night. A lot of different things people will be talking about, business owners. What's going to happen if it goes this way? What's going to happen if it goes that way? So imagine 2,000 people being here. Let me show you around. Some of you will have a private meeting with me. That's the elite. That's going to be a few of you. Some will get a private tour, the entire office from us. There's a hangar in the back. So you come up here, imagine there's going to be a couple major tents, 40 feet by 100 feet, where some of the people that are buying general tickets will be there. But over here inside the hangar is where the podcast will be held. This entire thing will be open like it is right now. Inside of it, myself, the PBD podcast crew, some of the super VIPs will be invited to go upstairs in a section that we have that's got a bar, a restaurant, food, kitchen. You're eating, you're watching it from all the way up there while we're doing the podcast down here in the hangar. So imagine in this room, there's 1,000 people, right? While we're going through this whole thing. Conversation, it's going to be from 6 p.m. is when it starts, all the way up to 2 o'clock in the morning. Who knows? Maybe we'll go 3, 4 o'clock in the morning because a lot of things that's going to be going on. And by the way, do you know why we're not cutting this? We're on an airport. These are planes. We have to hear because right here is the airport. And FYI, Messi plays right there at that stadium right behind us. There's 5 ticket tiers that you can purchase. Each one's got more things to offer. But even locally, there's general tickets to buy for just $75. Bring your wife, bring your husband, bring your family, bring your friends. There's one caveat after you buy the ticket. When you buy the ticket and you come on November 5th, you have to wear Future Looks Bright gear. I'm talking Future Looks Bright hat, a shirt, doesn't matter. You're gonna have to show I got some kind of Future Looks Bright gear because we want everybody here to spread the message and the energy of optimism around the world, back to their states, wherever you're going to be. So November 5th, click on the link above or below. Get registered, and if you're watching this saying, well, Pat, I like to travel private. Can I bring my private jet here? 5 of you guys will be after you buy your ticket. Then you can ask us, and that's only available to the tickets at the highest level possible to bring your jet and park it here. So having said that, get your tickets, and I cannot wait to see you November 5th, 6 p.m. at our new headquarters in Fort Lauderdale. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye, bye-bye.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.